Hello everybody and welcome to another Doctor Who review. This time I'm reviewing a 10th Doctor story. Let's find out which one it is. Okay, Turn Left, the 11th episode of Series 4 of Doctor Who from 2008, right in the middle of the Doctor Donna brilliance that you have here with David Tennant and Catherine Tate. This is the Doctor Lite episode that they used to do for Doctor Who back in the day, and it's a very, very deep story, and it just shows a lot of how important the companions are to the Doctor, and the whole premise that with Donna not being there, there is no Doctor saving the universe from Centaurans or the Rachnos or the Titanic crashing into Buckingham Palace and causing a nuclear holocaust, or even the adipose, and there was another thing as well and I can't remember. Oh yeah, Martha in the hospital, that's what it is. The hospital with the Jadoon, and everybody dies apart from one person. As you know, with these reviews, I don't tend to do a plot synopsis for the new series, and this one's no different. We'll go straight back into the plot and just have a look at a few things here. So, as you may know, obviously, Donna goes into a kind of fortune teller, Beetle climbs on her back, and this time Beetle kind of changes history, but her turning right at a junction instead of turning left. Her turning right changes the whole thing she does. She doesn't work at H.W. Clements. She doesn't meet the Doctor in The Runaway Bride. She doesn't end up stopping the Doctor from killing himself when he drowned the Rachnos. All that lovely, brilliant stuff he doesn't do. And it therefore means that all the events that have happened since The Runaway Bride kind of don't work. But overall, this is quite a gripping story. It gets your interest. I like the timey-wimey ones to respect, because it's interesting, because you know what should have happened and what has happened and how scary it is. Now, it's quite a personal one from Russell T Davies, obviously writing this. He likes his personal drama sort of stories, and this is no different. This whole thing of Donna not being seen herself as special, lack of confidence, but actually is very special and ends up being the saviour of the universe, as we see later in the series. Spoilers. But this whole situation of Rose coming in to try and guide her along, to get her to help out, to change time back, is brilliant. Billy Piper does a good cameo role here, playing Rose to help work it along, and you can certainly see that obviously Rose has a lot more knowledge. She's using the Doctor's technobabble a little bit, but she doesn't understand some of it and how it works, which is really interesting. So she has learned something. Donna is a brilliant character in this, and Catherine Tate plays Donna flawlessly in every episode that she shows up in Doctor Who, and is the lead here, really. David Tennant makes the fleet appearance at the beginning and the end, when they're going through all those stalls on that alien planet. But I think it's a really, really fun episode to go through. So, yes, you've got the Beetle that climbs to the back, that helps change history. All the events that Donna has afterwards, this other job that she ends up losing, all the destruction of the Hope Hospital and everything, and everything that follows afterwards, and how her life gets worse and worse. And there's a little undercurrent here with some of the main characters. You got Wilfred, played by Bernard Cribbins, who's always enthusiastic and is very fond of his granddaughter, Donna, and always tries to make her better than she is. And then you've got the other side with Sylvia, who never really appreciated Donna, I don't think, or wants her to be better, and just loses faith by the end, because she feels that nothing's working and everything's fallen apart, especially when they go up to Leeds as refugees, and the whole situation with the Eastern Europeans that are taken away to labour camps at one point. That dark undertone that Wilf alludes to is really scary. Just the whole story is dark enough and fun, I suppose, to watch and to see all the differences in that. We'll go through the lead cast. I mean, you've got David Tennant's the Doctor, which you don't really see much, but he's the Doctor. What can you say to much of the character here? There's not really much there. There's a bit of the realization that obviously there might be that Rose is involved when Bad Wolf's Mouth at the end. He plays that brilliantly. But then you've got Catherine Tate plays Donna, carries it. Everybody slated Catherine Tate because they didn't think she could act, but this is the episode that shows that she can act, and act absolutely off her socks. I mean, Billie Piper's a great actress, but even she's struggling to keep up with Catherine Tate at times, as far as I'm concerned. She really just knocks it out of the park. The best support is Bernard Cribbins as Wilfred. I think Bernard does a brilliant job here as the pick-me-up, and the one who's always trying to see the bright side of life with Donna and show that there's more to it. He's always happy. You've then got Jacqueline King, who plays Sylvia Noble, of course. Sylvia has always been the one who cares for Donna and wants her to do better, but never thinks that she can. And it's very sad to see Sylvia lose faith near the end of the story, because she just feels nothing's going right, nothing's ever going to go right, and she's going to effectively suffer for it. Interesting appearances here. You've got Unit back, and this kind of thing they've got with Unit at this point where they effectively idolise the Doctor and will do anything to help the Doctor. I prefer the battlefield element where he's kind of been forgotten a little bit. This kind of idolisation that the Doctor has with Unit at this point is a little sickening at times, but obviously this is only the second time that Unit's been made appearance since the beginning of the series, because you've got the Sontaran stratagem and the Poison Sky early in the series where Unit make their return, and they're a little bit sycophantic towards the Doctor, which does annoy me a little bit. They do make an appearance again in the next episode with Stolen Earth and Journey's End. You've then got Chipo Chung, who makes an appearance for the second time in the 11th episode of a series. She was Chando in the previous series in Utopia, and this time she plays the fortune teller, the evil fortune teller, who kind of gets a bit scared of Donna at the end because she overpowers the beetle and all that. You've then got a couple of other cast members that help bring it along, but they're very small in that respect. No disrespect to the actors; they all do their job, but there's not really anything remarkable of them. That's really your main cast there. It's a very deep story, as I was saying there, in regards to the story, the setup of it. There's a few things I do like of it. Alice, who was one of the workers from Chowdhury's business at the Christmas party, she was the first one to notice the beetle on Donald's back, well, as far as we can see. Rose also notices it later, and it's a nice little reference that Trickster is involved there in regards to trying to change history and feed off time with this beetle, which I think is a really interesting idea. It's the nice points of how each of the companions that would take part in helping save the universe and Stolen Earth are killed. Obviously, you've got the Doctor initially with the Ragnos. You then have the death of Martha Jones in the hospital. You've then got Saxon doesn't really make an appearance, I've noticed. You've got the adipose and the Americans not being able to help support Britain again with the adipose situation when 16 million fat people disappear into little adipose creatures. I thought that was quite a wry bit of dark humour there. The death of Sarah Jane, which was in the hospital, actually. It was Sarah Jane died in the hospital when she was trying to save things. That's also where Martha dies as well. And then you got Torchwood saving the situation with the Sontarans, and the fact that Jack was taken away by the Sontarans as well is interesting. But they announced the death of Gwen and Yanto, who are the only two at that point. So it's interesting seeing those little points there within the story. Overall, it's you can watch it. The Graham Harper's direction really works with the fact they're using nighttime most of the time, and he's good at these emotional things with characters, and he certainly it's a bit of a slower one for him because he usually has a bit more action orientated stuff, but this one's more akin to the sort of direction he was doing for Revelation of the Daleks and Caves of Androzani to an extent. It's a bit slower. It is single camera set piece, but it's more akin to what he was doing in the classic series than what he was doing in the modern series for some of his other directions. It's an interesting take, an interesting direction there, and I like the lighting, and Murray Gold's music is not bombastic, that overtakes everything, which is always the thing I have criticism with Murray Gold in later seasons. He's not got there yet. He's certainly still complementing everything, and it certainly is a great direction. It's just the lighting, I think. It's just the darkness and everything else, and that comes around with Graham Harper's stuff, because there's a lot of things set in dark places with the lighting and candles, and late at night things are happening, as well as some of the daytime stuff when they're at the spa and everything. But most of it is based in night, and all the important bits are done at night, and the lighting is just it just gives this otherworldliness to it, and this kind of strangeness of being in the dark with most of the stuff that happens in the episode. The idea that Donna has to knock herself down to cause a traffic jam to make the Donna in the proper universe turn left instead of turn right is interesting. But it's just an amazing situation, and an amazing setup that you have here. And this whole situation of turning right initially seems good, but then just completely falls apart. It's amazing to think that your life choices could be changed by such a simple thing as just turning the other direction from where you were intending. And it just makes you think, is your life choices like that? Have you done something in the past that could have made things a lot different, or is it a lot better being where you are? And this underlying story that's there, obviously it's more of a sci-fi element to it, because obviously with Donna not being involved as much in things, it kind of kills things off a bit more with other people and other things. But overall it's an interesting premise, and certainly one that is an interesting watch, and it's one of the strongest episodes of Series 4. It's not the strongest. There's a couple more that are absolute doozies in here, which I will review in the future, but it's certainly one of the better ones for me, and for that I would give it 4 TARDISes out of 5. Okay, let's have a look and see how that stacks up against the rest of the reviews so far. Turn Left has esteemed company. It includes The Visitation, The Green Death, The Empty Child the Doctor Dances, An Unearthly Child, The Mind Robber, The Power of the Daleks, Spearhead from Space, and Horror of Fang Rock. At the top is still 6 stories at 4.5 TARDISes out of 5. They are The Happiness Patrol, Inferno, The Day of the Doctor, The Caves of Androzani, The Tomb of the Cybermen, and Dalek. At the bottom we still have Time Lash, with 2.5 TARDISes out of 5. And that's the review for Turn Left. Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think of Turn Left. Do you like it? Do you not? Let me know in the comments down below. And you have an opportunity to help me out for the 2021 season of reviews that I'm going to be doing on the YouTube channel. I have now a Patreon, as you know, and there'll be a poll going up where you have an opportunity to suggest a Doctor Who story for me to review next year. I'm going to have a poll up which has a box in where you can put 1 story for each Doctor, and it doesn't have to be all the Doctors. If you want to put in one for Sylvester McCoy or Tom Baker or Peter Davison, you just do that. If you want to do all of them, all the way through to Jodie Whittaker, you can pick that. Then once I've got a few suggestions, Patreons will be able to vote on what stories will be reviewed next year. And you can also then give me some comments about your thoughts of the stories as well via Patreon. So it's a chance for you to get involved. More information about how to join in with the Patreon is in the link down below. It's also here and it's also up there, and it will be on the end title card as well. So that's your opportunity to maybe help contribute more to what Doctor Who reviews I do next, because there is nearly 200 still to go, a lot to go, and I'm starting to run out of ideas which ones to do next. So I need your help a little bit on that, because just too many to choose from, really. Apart from that, if you like this video, don't forget to like it and share it with the hashtag teamstructor, and also hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you know when a new video comes out. Next week is a Kidstructor, and it's The Real Ghostbusters with Jamie and Fraser. I hope you can join me for that. 4 PM GMT on a Sunday is the usual time for a video. And until next time, thanks guys for watching as always, and I'll see you later.